Okay, so the boiler is empty, so we need to make sure there's water in the boiler before it starts heating up. So what I'm going to do is turn on the steam wand first, then I'm going to turn the power on. It will start pulling water. Because I haven't put the cover on, I can't put the container in the back yet. So I just popped it up on some containers here. I'm going to basically turn it on and let water get pumped through into the boiler and see it come out of the steam ones. So I need to open the steam ones. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's pour water through. See if water starts coming through the steam one. Something's not right here. Oh yeah, it's coming through. Okay. There you go. So turn that pump off. Okay. I'll have to get my torch to see if there's any leaks in here. So far no water under there. So I'm leaving it on heating up. Right. So the boiler's heating up. Looking for leaks. There's water coming back through the return, which is good. Pressure relief. And the light's gone off. So we have water up to temperature now. No leaks. Try and make some steam. The steam knob feels good with that new gasket. So we have steam. That's the other temperature sensor working. Okay. Alright, so now I'm gonna turn it off and make a coffee. Okay, so time to make a coffee. The first one didn't come out so good. Probably better to do another one. So let's go. So what we need to do is take off the pressure valve, OPV valve, and unbolt it from the bottom nut. And from there we can get into replace the washer or whatever it's called. So we have a spring and a valve washer, metal with a rubber in there, and an O-ring. So I need to replace those. So I'm going to try and do this without taking, because I don't want to, this is a pressure valve and there's a adjustment nut there to adjust the pressure. I don't have any pressure meters, so I can't, once I put it back together I can't test the pressure. So I'm trying to avoiding adjusting, unscrewing this bit here, the outside nut. So I'm going to try and remove it with the inside nut. I'm using a 21mm spanner. Try and do it with it in the machine. Still a bit hot. So oh, it's actually come off. Okay. Wasn't on very tight. Oh, that's the collar. Okay. So that bit you don't want to... That's the pressure adjustment, I guess. So now I'm going to try and undo the main nut. Yeah. Okay, it's coming off by hand. Now, okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to undo the silicone hose. It's been on for 11 years. The other one I did, it snapped. It broke the hose. Okay, here we go. And push the clip back. It's worth ordering a new hose if it's like really old machine. And then ease it off. Yeah, that's off. Okay, good. Bit of water came out. Right, so now I can just undo it by hand, trying to avoid adjusting that nut too much. So I don't have to readjust the pressure. But thankfully it's not on that side, but the machine is warm. Because this is the pressure adjustment nut, I guess. Wow, okay. So here's the spring and all that. Okay. So I've got this out in the spring, but the old gasket and washer is still in there. So I've had to actually loosen this. I'm trying to avoid that, but I've loosened it. 19mm and a 15mm spanner. So I'm just trying to loosen it to be able to bring it round, so I can. All right, I'm gonna have to undo that pipe at the back as well. Which I might do at the bottom of the machine actually. I'm gonna take the back off. I'm trying to avoid unscrewing these bits, otherwise you just create leaks later. So I don't have a spare copper gaskets. So I'm gonna take the back off and then undo the hose from the water pump. Okay, so I got the back off again. I've got a 13mm spanner here. I'll use a vice grip to take the hose off of the pump because I already had it off there before. So I was trying to avoid taking the hose off where I don't need to because of the copper gaskets and things in there. I don't want to dislodge that because I don't have any spare ones. Alright. So yeah, good to do this at the same time as doing the boiler because now I have to cut the cable tie again. That's off. Alright, so now all I need to do is just, I just want to do it enough to twist it round to be able to see inside. Alright. Now that's in the way. Maybe it's just better to take the hose off there then. Alright, I give up. Size 13 again. Okay, so in the end I just found it easier to undo the steam wand pipe and then just get the hose from under there because this is on really tight. So now you can see inside is the washer. So I want to actually take it out and just clean the whole thing because there it is. Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks worn. The end looks like the rubber's actually gone completely. Alright, I want to take this whole OPV out and just give it a clean in the coffee cleaner stuff. So here's the new one. And here's the old one, and the old one is wrecked. So that would explain why I'm getting a bit of a leak. And there's a lot of limescale on the other parts, and the O-ring. It's got limescale all over it, so I've got a new O-ring here. So this is out now, and there's a copper washer in there, and it's really gunky in there, so I'm gonna give that a cleaning coffee cleaner. Okay, I've cleaned it as best I can. Now I can see why people buy a whole new OPV because it's quite corroded in it. It's 11 years old. Look at that corrosion in there. Anyway, I don't have a new one, so I'll just put it back together with the new parts. There's a copper washer that goes in here. Right. And let me rebuild. Okay. So we've got a O-ring. The new O-ring goes on here. And then we've got the spring, new spring. Old one was probably okay. Oh, before the spring goes in, this goes in. This plump. Oh yeah, spring goes in here. The plunger goes in there. and then it goes together like this. So I can, when it's out of the machine, I can do it up. Okay. That's a 20mm. Well, I have 120mm. I use that 21mm on the other one. Having a vise would be easier. Okay, and I'll fit it onto the machine. Oh, I'll have to tighten it up. I notice there's actually a line on here. There's an indicator. Possible for the factory they set this, so there's a small line there. And there's another line. No, that wouldn't make sense. There's no lines on this nut. Interesting. Oh, there is a line. There's a line on the nut. Just here. So I'll try and line that up to the factory setting. I guess that's what it is. Oh, which way did it go? Okay, that's on. Give it a small tighten. Okay, and get this back on. Just plunger. The plunger goes in there, spring goes in here. Well, plunger goes on the end of the spring because of gravity. Okay, so tighten this up. Okay. Now I just need to put this hose back on down here, put the silicone pipe in and do it all up, and let's see how it goes. Okay, it's back together now, so I'm just going to check it for, I was going to prime the boiler again. I mean, there was water in the boiler, I didn't let it out, but I better let some water run through it. And then I will let it rest a bit, and then I will do the test to see if the pressure's fixed. So it runs through the steam ones. Okay. Once I've pull it down. Okay, good. And I've done that one because that's the first copy coming out and there's cleaning solution on it, so I'll make another one. So this one, wow, yeah, looking good. Alright, so when I put the OPV back, I don't have a pressure gauge, so I saw there's some limescale or something build up around the nut, so I just kind of tighten the nut up around that same position to have the original pressure, because I've never adjusted this OPV in 11 years, so it would have been factory set, and I just put a new washer in there, so I'm guessing that would be the factory set, but the pump over time loses efficiency or something, so you need to adjust, I think, the OPV over time anyway. But I don't have a pressure gauge, so just looking online, I found that for a 9 bar, there should be about, if you put so I'm doing using a blind filter in the portafilter. So I'm going to basically, we use the back flushing technique. So you just put the blind filter in the basket. And what happens is the, what's it called, reverse pipe, or the OPV pipe that goes back into the tank for the overflow. You're basically using the blind filter to force the pressure back out through that overflow pipe, and you can measure the rate. So what I found is should be about 320 cc's or 320 milliliters in 1 minute. So use a stopwatch, and I made it a bit quicker using 30 seconds, so 160 cc's in 30 seconds. So what I'm going to do is measure that on the stopwatch. 30 seconds. Obviously be careful of the machine, the cover's off. I'm going to hold that in and start the pump, start the stopwatch, go, start the pump. Get ready to stop. 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay. Now I'm going to check how much do I have in the measuring jug. So let me just get the camera off. Tripod. Now, that's just under, that's about, I would say between 100 and 150 cc's or milliliters, about 120. So that's too, how can we say, the flow rate's too fast, too short, sorry. The flow rate, there's, in 30 seconds, there's not enough water coming out. So it means the pressure's high. Not sure how flow rate rates the pressure, but anyway, I need to get this up to 160 cc's. So I'm gonna adjust the OPV. Pull the water back in. So now I'm gonna adjust the OPV to give less pressure. And the way I do that is I'm going to turn the machine off, turn it off at the mains. Now you can do this, I've got a 20mm spanner here. I've already loosened it. This nut is just a collar. The one nearest the OPV is just a, what's the word, a locking nut once you've done your adjustments. So what I'm going to do is loosen that. And I want to let it out. If I let it out, then if I lengthen this, there'll be less pressure. So I need to use do two things at once. Use the pliers to hold. Actually, I'm going to use the pliers to move the silicone, the catch that's holding the cable. That cable is going to end up getting twisted, and I'll just have to. I'll show you in a minute how I twist that back. So I'm going to move this out to reduce the pressure. So I was doing some tests earlier and found that would increase the amount of water coming out. There, now I can see, so this is not standard, because I can see the standard setting where the calcium edge is, when it came out of factory, I'm moving beyond that a bit. So now I've loosened it, not too much, just like 1 turn or 2 turns. And then I'm gonna loosen this, tighten it back up, the locking nut. Then the silicone's twisted, so I need to twist that back. So I'm twisting the silicone back. That's twisted back, I'm happy. And now I'm gonna put the locking catch back up and test the flow rate. So machine back on and timer. And here we go. Pipe in there. Start the timer, turn the machine on, start the timer. I'll let it go by 1 second because I started it late. Yeah, happy with that. Okay. So let's see what we've got now. So, yeah, it's definitely made a difference. So now I'm just above the, I'm at the 200 mark. That's too much then. I'm at the 200 milliliter mark, 200 cc mark. So I'm gonna have to turn that nut back in now because I've gone too much. Okay, so I'm gonna have to go back in. Pour the water back in. Turn the machine off at the mains. Loosen nut. Catch off. Tighten it back in a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Probably about halfway from what I did before. Tighten lock nut. Twist the silicone so it's not twisted with your hands. I did put a little bit of washing up liquid, tiny little bit when I replaced the OPV on that silicone to make it easier to slip around. Okay, now I can test again. Timer back on, 30 seconds. Machine back on. Okay, overflow pipe back in the container. Okay, I'm going to start the timer. Start. Come. Stop. Let's see how much we got now. Oh, it's still up there. It's still up there on 200. I'm aiming for about 160. So repeat the process. I'm going to stop recording now. I'm going to keep adjusting this in now. Get that down, and when that's done, I'll record it again. Okay, so I think I've set it now. It's actually you have to do very small increments, like 1/8 of a turn, maybe 1/4 of a turn. Turns out. So let me time it now. And the screw goes out away. You're extending the OPV length to reduce the pressure, apparently, to go towards that 9 bar. Because apparently these Rancilio Silvas come out of the factory with 11 bar because of the coffee pod adaptation you can do. You can put coffee pods on them, and that needs 11 bar. That's what I'm reading online anyway. So this is a rough idea anyway, this flow rate thing. I would like to get a pressure gauge to check it again. But look, testing the coffee, when I first put this machine back together, the coffee wasn't great, and now I've been adjusting the pressure. I'm getting a good taste now, and more crema. So let's test it now. 30 seconds, go. Let's check what we've got. That is just above 160. I'm happy with that. Probably 170 maybe. I'm happy with that at the moment. So look, you can experiment, you can leave the cover off. You don't need to put this metal clasp on every time. I found out you can just leave that off while you're adjusting. But that silicone cable gets twisted, that silicone hose gets twisted, so just make sure when you're tightening and loosening that you can untwist that just by putting it around with your fingers. Yeah, so just experiment and test the coffees coming out, because I noticed the difference. The crema, the taste, much better, much better. Yeah. So in the info of this video, I'll put the timings and the amount of water you're hoping to collect. So in summary, if you loosen the nuts so the OPV gets longer, you're reducing the pressure and more water will come into the container. If you tighten the nuts so the OPV gets shorter, you're increasing the pressure and the amount of water you'll get will be less. Okay, so I found the optimal flow rate for my machine, and it's about 150 milliliters in 30 seconds. And that seems to give a good coffee. If I go either side of that, I end up with the creme is there, but the coffee tastes bad. So the pressure seems to be make a big difference. So I'll just demonstrate that now. So I'll time 30 seconds with the blank filter on the portafilter. Let's go. Okay, so what I'm seeing in here is about 150 milliliters in 30 seconds. So that's the optimal flow rate for me. And what we see online with other YouTube videos and websites, etc., people are saying 160 milliliters for 30 seconds, but I find that was too... The coffee came harsh out of my machine like that. Anyway, I think you just have to adjust it. You just have to adjust the flow rate and then just try the coffee, brew a coffee. So we'll do that now. We'll brew a coffee now. See what comes out. Okay, take the blind filter out. Alright, well let's settle a bit. Okay, so this is what I get out now of the machine, and it tastes good. And no more white dots. And after maybe a minute, the creamer will settle there. So I'm happy with that. Obviously, there's a new spring in the OPV, and over time that will start wearing. So it's probably best to check the pressures again. But it could be in a year, something like that. Okay, so I think I finally dialed it in. The result I got was 160 milliliters in 30 seconds is the best for my machine with this new OPV washer and new boiler gasket. And I found it 10 milliliters either side of that, like 150 ml would, the coffee would look okay, the creme would look okay, but the taste was not good. It's quite bad. So going either way, 10 milliliters was producing a poor coffee. So let me just run this through now. So let's see if this machine is still calibrated now. So there we have it. It's just over 150. It's about, I call it 160 milliliters per 30 seconds. And that is good for my machine. Good coffee out of that.